Hey guys, Shannon here from Shannon Billows Personal Training and Coaching Services. Now it's just a very quick webinar today, only for about maybe 15 minutes or so. Just going to go through some of the basics in terms of how I go about coaching my clients with their nutrition, and how I get results in terms of fat loss with most of my training clients. So first of all, basically, thank you for coming and watching and listening. I hope you can take away some key points today, even if you're still quite nutrition savvy, even if you're a member of mine, or if you have no idea about nutrition. This should give you some aspect as to how simple it can be, even though it is quite a hard process over the long term, and just what you can do and things you can actually implement starting from today, and really see some results in the next couple of weeks if you haven't been getting results, or if you're thinking about taking up some diet and training and nutrition changes in your lifestyle. So who is your daddy and what does he do? So who am I and why should you listen to me? I'm a personal trainer, so I coach people for a living. I have been since 2010. My specialty is, fat loss. I've got qualifications. I'm not going to go into detail about those. Some of them are just the mandatory that we have to go through to coach people in basic exercises and movement in terms of like the TRX and things like that. And then I have my own personal weight loss of over 50 kilos. So I used to be 120 kilos, and I'm down to, the lowest I got down to was 68, which is quite low for my height. I'm about just under 6 foot. And then obviously I fluctuate in between there depending on how stressful the time of year is and how much I want to have a drink or not. But I specialize in body transformation. So I like to help people lose weight. That's what I do. That's my specialty. That's what I can do for 95% of people who stick out the training and the program and the eating. Okay. So just to give you an idea, this is what I used to look like when I was 15 years old. This is where I was 120 kilos, and this is the first day that I ever said to myself that enough's enough, and this is where I'm going to start my weight loss journey. And it's the only photo that I ever took because I was so self-conscious about myself. I wouldn't let anyone take any photos of me. And this was essentially this is the first day I ever decided to eat healthy. I didn't know much about nutritional training, and neither did my family. So I started off with Weight Watchers, and that was a good start for me, again, because I didn't know anything. Now, Weight Watchers back then, I'm not too sure what it is now, but it was a very simplified calorie counting system. So basically, if you have a banana, it's worth 2 points. If you have a piece of meat, it may be worth 3 points. You're allowed to have 20 points in a day. All right, so they just really dumb it down for you. So they make it really easy. And then through my ages of about 15, 16, 17, 18, about 18 years, so about 3 years, I lost the majority of my weight, which is 50 kilos. I did no weight training or exercise. It was mostly just cardio and movement. So I'll show you a picture of what I look like in the next slide on the left-hand side. Alright, so that was me at 72 kilos without any weight training, just cardio, walking around, eating low calories for extended periods of time. And then the photo on the right was about a year to a year and a half worth of training in terms of resistance training, and that was after I got myself certified as a personal trainer. I did basic bodyweight movements at home and things like that because there's only so much walking that you can do, especially when you're first starting out and if you're quite overweight. And then that gets too time consuming. So obviously you have to up the ante. Weight training is great. It helps bone mass. It helps maintain muscle. You will look better. You will feel better over the long term, and especially as you age, it's really important for mobility and things like that. And it's best to do it now. The best medicine is preventative, and not to catch it once it's already there. So that's what I used to look like on the left when I lost a lot of the weight at 72 kilos, and on the right hand side I actually look like I'm bigger, but I am actually technically smaller. I just have less body fat but more muscle mass. Alright, and that's the awesome effects of resistance training, heavy weight training. Whether you're male or female, you should be weight training at least 3 days a week. Minimum 2, ideally 3. That's really going to get you somewhere. Okay. The how. So what do you do? How do you eat to lose weight? And this is the biggest question with all my clients, I mean, most clients can come in, they can do their training, they've got a training program, they do body weight squats, they go for walks and things like that. But one of the biggest factors in everyone's training program is their nutrition, and it's just something that no one can really seem to get right until you've done it and you've gone through the hard yards to really focus in on it and get it underway. No matter what anyone says, you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat. Okay, eating less calories than you burn. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that people associate burn with exercise. Put it this way: your body's going to burn X amount of calories a day just to live, just to lay in bed. You stare at the ceiling all day, you go back to sleep. Your body's going to burn some amount of calories just to function, your heart to keep beating, your brain to keep going. As long as you're eating less than that, you will lose weight. It's the law of thermodynamics. You eat less and you will burn fat. If you eat too much, you will put on fat. That's just how your body works. There's a couple of different options depending on the body fat percentage that you're starting at or your current activity level. You can eat the same amount and you can move much more, which obviously is quite a lot of effort and requires you to be physically active. You can eat less and keep the same amount of movement. So the best analogy to probably go through is if you go onto the treadmill and you burn off 500 calories compared to cutting out 500 calories from your diet, it's still 500 calories. All right. Doesn't matter how you do it, you're still cutting out 500 calories from your daily intake. All right. Or a combination of both. So you eat a little bit less and you move a little bit more. That's the perfect storm. That's what I would recommend my clients, or what I suggest to my clients. Obviously, do weight training, eat a little bit less, and then you get the benefits of both worlds. All right. Tracking through MyFitnessPal is a really big help. Okay, most people just don't know how much calories are in portions of food. So if I said to you how many calories are in 150 grams of chicken, could you answer me straight away and say this is how many calories are in it? Probably not. Okay, you don't know how many calories are in your food unless you actively measure and track it consistently. There will be a time period if you do it consistently and you figure out how many calories are in your food after a while, say 1 month, 2 months, it could take you 6 months, then you can start eyeballing things and then having guesstimates and saying, yeah, that is probably about 200, maybe 300 calories. That might be 200 calories of ice cream, for example. It's just a skill. You have to practice it to get better at it, and the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. Scale weight, so the food scale that you purchase just at like your local supermarket. Weighing your food is really important, at least to start with. You don't have to go micromanage every single grain of rice that goes into your mouth, but your cup is probably going to be very different to my cup, especially because I weigh and track my food. And if you overpack the cup, if you underpack the cup, all of that makes up for big differences in terms of your food intake and your calorie intake. So if you're hungry that day and you just want as much, I don't know, protein powder or rice or whatever measurement, a little bit of oil in your food, if you're not measuring it correctly, you just don't know how many calories that you may be missing out on that you think you're tracking, but you may not be. Where do you start? Okay. In terms of figuring out a rough idea of how many calories that you should be aiming for people who are relatively lean, so lean I mean average body fat percentage, just your average sort of Joe, nothing too crazy, nothing too big or obese or overweight, or nothing too lean, about 22 times your body weight in kilograms. Alright, that's a really good starting place for most people. The exception to the rule would be obese clients who have excess of about 30, maybe 40 kilos to lose or higher, and you can eat much lower at that, about somewhere around 16 times your body weight. So the way the reasoning behind that is it's called the theory of fat availability. So not trying to attack anyone and saying that you're fat, but the fatter you are, the more fat your body has to pull from as an energy reserve. That's what fat is. It's there for times when you're starving, when you're not eating, when you go through extended periods of time and you don't have access to food, your body's going to pull on fat. That's what it's being stored. Okay, so energy, the law of thermodynamics, and energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred from one form to another. So if you eat food and you don't burn it off, it's going to turn into fat. If you don't eat enough and your body's running on X amount of calories a day, your body's going to have to take that energy from somewhere else, which is predominantly fat. Okay, fat's your reserve to run on as a fuel source. Plan your days around protein and your total calories, and then you get to fill the rest with whatever you like. Now, this is probably the nutrition approach which differs my training and my philosophies from maybe other trainers that you may have had in the past, or what a lot of magazines preach and things like that. Everyone's always trying to look for the perfect diet. Everyone's trying to look for the perfect storm and trying to get the right paleo diet, or I don't know, there's so many diets out there. There's a blood type diet. It's crazy how many diets are out there. Figure out your calories, get exactly how many calories it is that you need to eat a day in terms of your weight loss goals. Figure out your protein, so as a minimum 1 gram per kilo of your lean body mass, so that's your muscles and your bones and things like that, which is equations that we can work out, but I mean, I'm not going to go into that today. That's another seminar for another time. Figuring out your protein. Once you hit your protein and your total calories are set, you fill the rest of the calories with whatever you like. So the reason I don't give diet programs to my clients is, and I explained this to them in our first interview in the first week, is number one, I don't know if you have any food allergies. I don't know if you're religious, or if you have religious beliefs and you can't eat certain foods. If I told you to eat only chicken and broccoli and only have that 3 times a day, I can guarantee that you will lose weight doing that, and you'll probably get really, really lean and shredded and ripped and all that sort of stuff. But you'd probably flip me the bird and tell me to go yourself. It's just not a long-term sustainable diet. So you don't need to go that extreme to get extreme results. You can get really, really, really good results covering the main areas. So put your big boulders in place first, and then put your pebbles around there wherever you like to. Some people do better on high-fat diets. Some people do better on high-carb diets. Everyone's slightly different. Some people like breakfast. Some people don't. It doesn't really matter. You've got your total calories for the day. You know how much protein you're meant to get for the day. Oh, sorry, and I should explain to you as well, the reason that we set a protein limit is hopefully that you're weight training, but your muscle and your muscular system requires protein to build muscle. So depending on obviously how much muscle that you have, how intense your weight training is, every time you weight train, you lift a weight, your muscle will break down continuously. That's what happens when you weight train. It will then build up and repair the damaged proteins or the damaged muscles that the trauma that you've just caused to that muscle. For example, if you do a bicep curl, it's causing damage to that muscle because it's under stress, under load. If you don't get enough protein to repair that muscle, your body will take protein elsewhere inside your body and repair it. So your body can actually recycle its own protein. So as long as you're getting enough protein to maintain and build muscle, you won't lose any muscle in a diet process, or very little, at least in that respect anyway. So that's why we need to make sure we hit the protein requirements, because your body can't build protein or new protein out of existing protein, or if you're not getting enough. Okay, I hope that made sense. And then fill the rest with whatever you like. Be sensible. Don't just go silly and just eat chips. You're gonna have a bad time if you're trying to just make your diet just eating chips. And ice cream, but yeah, 80% to 90% whole foods. Most people know what they should be eating. I mean, try and eat meats, try and eat vegetables, have fruits. If there's a little bit of something that you do like to have over night time, like for example chocolate or a glass of wine, you can still make that fit within the calories. Okay, you can still enjoy those things. It only becomes an issue when it becomes in excess, and then you stop tracking exactly how much you're getting. All right. So a rough estimate of 1,200 calorie diet for a female will probably produce much poorer results than a perfectly tracked 1,250 calorie diet for a female. And they may be eating 50 calories more, but I can guarantee they're tracking it perfectly, and they're going to get much better results. So it really comes down to how much effort you put into tracking your food. The way I like to schedule the week, so once obviously you've organized your calories and how much you should be eating on a day-to-day basis, how much protein you're eating on a day-to-day basis, this is my schedule I use with my clients, okay? It's a deficit day and a maintenance day, okay? And that is how I feel on the cheat day, by the way. You have 5 and 2 or 6 and 1. Now I'll explain that to you in just a second. Now if you don't know what deficit means, it just means less. So basically a dieting day or a day that you're losing fat, and a maintenance day is maintenance. It's just the amount of calories that it costs to just keep you exactly where you are, not gaining, not losing any fat. Alright. So you've got 5 days of dieting and 2 days of maintenance, and you've got 6 days of dieting and 1 day of maintenance. Alright, so what that may look like is John is dieting from Monday to Friday. He's really strict on his calories. He's only allowed to have 1,500 per day. On his one, I don't like using the term cheat day because it implies that you can eat everything and anything in sight. You would eat up to the calories that allows you to stay at maintenance calories. Okay, so for the average male, it's somewhere between 2,000, 2,500. For the average female, it's probably sitting around 1,700, 1,800. Okay, so you'd have your 6 days of maintenance. You have your 1 day, which is I like to call it a social day. So you can go out and see friends, have a beer, have a little bit of chocolate, something that you enjoy eating, something that you really have been looking forward to all week. Still eat pretty healthy, or try as much as you can, as long as that fits within your total calories for that one maintenance day. And then you would go straight back into your deficit day the following day, which would be on a Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 1,500 calories for a male, for example. You'd have a 2,400 calorie day on a Saturday. You get to relax a bit, enjoy company of people and friends, and then you go straight back into your dieting day on the following Sunday. Now you won't technically be losing any fat on that dieting day, that maintenance day, but just eating at maintenance isn't going to undo a whole week worth of dieting. It's just going to stop fat loss for 1 day, and it actually has some benefits to it, which I'll go through in just a moment. The other option is, especially as you get leaner and you have sort of very little body fat to lose, so under 15% for men, probably under 20 or 20% for women. 5 and 2 is probably a better option, so you get to have 2 maintenance days per week as opposed to just the 1. Now the way this can work, you can have those 2 any day throughout the week. So you can have it as a midweek, say a Wednesday, and you can have it on a Saturday or a Sunday, or you can save them for the weekend. You can have it on the Saturday and the Sunday, or you can try and put them around your training days. If you feel better and you're quite happy eating less calories on the weekend, and you want to put them just to feel like you have a bit more energy on your training days, you can have it on a Monday and a Wednesday if you train on those days, just for example. Okay, but that's just a good structure. Most of my clients would follow on a 6 on and 1 off day, as opposed to the 5 on 2 off days. Reason behind it also, some of the technical aspects of it in terms of your hormones, it helps your leptin levels stay a little bit higher. So leptin is a hormone that your brain produces after extended, or it produces it all the time depending on how much body fat you have, but it's responsible for sort of how hungry you feel, your energy, how much you're going to move around for the day, and it's related to how much body fat you have. So the less body fat you have, the less leptin is going to be released, and also how many calories you're getting. So there is some research to say, and I don't have any of the studies with me at the moment, but the refeed days or the maintenance days help some of the down regulation of leptin within the body. Okay, so it just basically sort of puts it on pause for a little bit, as opposed to just going 6 months of just 1,200 calories and that's it, nothing else. It's going to lower a lot quicker. Okay, with ghrelin is a hormone in terms of every time you eat, your body produces ghrelin. Ghrelin is a hunger signaling hormone. So this is why I'm not really a big fan of 6 meals a day. I mean, it can work. There's nothing wrong with it as long as it fits the calories. But there's no magic to it. It's not going to speed up your metabolism any faster than what it already is. Okay. Every time you eat, your body will release ghrelin. If you do that for consistently at 2 weeks, 3 weeks, your body's going to get into a pattern where it's going to start releasing ghrelin on those times, same day, same time, each day, whether you're eating or not. So if you're in a 6 meal pattern eating frequency and you have been doing it for months and months and months, as soon as you stop eating breakfast, for example, if you try and skip lunch, your body's going to let you know what, you should be eating lunch, we're expecting lunch now, time to go eat lunch, and you're going to feel the hunger pangs. The good thing is though, you can train the ghrelin response. But the sooner you eat in the day, the sooner that ghrelin hormone is going to be released. But again, all the hormones, that's a different seminar completely. And I obviously only have limited knowledge of how all the hormones. I know enough to explain to clients and get everyone by. But obviously, there's a lot more people who are suited to whole day seminars. People devote their whole entire lives just to leptin and ghrelin and other hormones in the body. So that's just a quick overview of sort of how leptin and ghrelin sort of work in the body. Diet breaks and scheduled time off dieting. So unless you have a deadline, if you've got a wedding coming up and it's at 12 weeks, you're going to bet your ass you're going to be dieting all the way down to day dot. I wouldn't put refeeds or anything like that in. You have a day to look as best as you possibly can, and then your time off is going to be after that 12-week dieting break. After your wedding, for example. If you're just a client who has just general fat loss goals and you're just trying to lose a substantial amount of weight, say 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 kilos over the next 6 months, 1 year, year and a half, 2 years, every 12 weeks to every 16 weeks, you would then have 2 weeks off your diet. Now, the leaner you are, the more diet breaks you get. Again, this is just one of the main reasons to help negate some of the leptin down regulation that happens in terms of your body fat, because obviously the less body fat you have, the more leptin gets reduced. It also helps mentally. So if you know you've only got 6 weeks of dieting before you get 2-week diet break at maintenance, you don't get to eat over just maintenance. You've only got so much time to diet for. You can stick it out for 6 weeks hard, and then you can come down and have a break. Go for another 6 weeks hard, come down and have a break. And that's how you get to a lean body fat percentage, and it also teaches you maintenance calories, how to eat like a normal person when you're not dieting. Okay, and again, that's another seminar for another time, which I'll go through. Now, just be aware in terms of your fluctuations. So what I would do is, with a client, I would suggest most people try and weigh themselves at least on a Monday and a Friday of each week. Okay, reason being, most people are really strict on a Monday to Friday with their calories. They go to work, they're in a really good schedule, they do what they're meant to do, they pack their food, they don't drink on school nights, so to speak. Everyone's really good Monday to Friday. Come the weekend, you're going to eat a bit more, especially if you're following the principles that I put forward, the 6 and 1 or the 5 and 2. You're going to eat more food over the weekend, which is going to account for more weight on the following Monday. So Monday and Friday weigh-ins, if you eat more food, you're going to store more water, you're going to store more glycogen, and you just have more food in your system weighing you down. So for example, if let's start with Monday. Let's say you had a massive weekend, you went out with the boys or the girls, you had pizza, kebabs, you had an awesome time, you wake up like crap on Sunday, you weigh yourself on Monday, and you're 75, let's say 80 kilos, let's say you're 80, alright, you're 80 kilos on Monday. Monday to Friday, you are really strict, you will flush out a lot of the water, you will flush out, or you'll hopefully have burnt a lot of glycogen from your weight training throughout that week. And any extra food, so going from say 1500 calories all the way up to 2500 calories, there's 1000 calories worth of food weight. If you were to go and hold 500 grams of rice and go stand on the scale, you're going to weigh 500 grams heavier. Now if you consume that and that's sitting in your stomach, that's how much you're going to weigh, an extra X amount whatever you eat. Alright, so Friday, generally you don't eat as much Monday to Friday, you're going to weigh less on the Friday, you're going to eat more over the weekend, you're going to weigh more on a Monday. Weight fluctuations are completely normal, and if you don't get them, there's probably something going on. There's something really weird going on. As soon as you can come to terms with the weight fluctuations and what they look like on a Monday and a Friday, your life will be much, much easier through your dieting and your prep. Okay, so with your Monday, you're going to weigh more. Your Friday, you're going to weigh less, hopefully, if you've stuck to your diet. Track your Monday and your Friday every single week, and as long as both of those reduce every single week, you know you're losing weight. All right. There's other methods. I find this is the best the best method to go by. Okay. Reassess every 1 to 2 weeks. So if you're not assessing, you're guessing. And this is what I do with my clients at least every 4 weeks. 4 weeks is a good enough span to assess weight loss and goals. But at least every 2 weeks, reassess your weight, how strict you have been, if you've been tracking your calories accurately. If your weight is going down or if it's maintaining. Now I will say, over the long period of time, if you've been doing something and it has been working for about 3 months, 4 months, and you then stop losing weight, the calories that you're eating may now match the energy that you burn, because a smaller person, let's say you've lost 10 to 15 kilos, a smaller person will now burn less calories, and the energy output may now match the food that you're intaking. So you need to either decrease your food a bit more, exercise a little bit more, or exercise a lot more, or eat a lot less. So that's just, again, going back to the other slide, what you can do. But assess every 2 weeks. If you're not losing, just reduce your calories by about 150 to 200, and then reassess again in another 2 weeks. All right. If you're losing more than 1.5 kilos per week, or up to 3 kilos per fortnight, you can probably eat a bit more food. All right. If you're not losing enough, 100 grams, 200 grams, you can probably cut back on your food just a little bit. Cool. Action plan. So steps. What can you implement today to get your results tomorrow? Just do it. Download the app. Go to MyFitnessPal. Go download it. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Use it for the next month. Just track it. I mean, how many diet programs and how many times have you really succeeded at actual transforming your body? Not many people really stick out the training. They fall into diet fads. I've fallen for diet fads when I first started as well, and this is what works for me. This is what works for all my clients that transform their body. Get your MyFitnessPal app, track your food, do it for 2 weeks. Go buy a food scale. They're about $15, mind you. Don't worry about the spelling mistakes. I know they're bad in here. I was doing this in a little bit of a rush. But grab your food scale. $15 from your local supermarket. It's the best $15 you'll ever invest. Again, I can guarantee my portion of chicken is going to be accurate because I weigh it, and it's going to be a lot different to your portion of chicken, and you just don't know how many calories is in. I just use chicken as an example because that's something that you need to weigh to know how much calories is in it. But generally speaking, for example, if I was to pull out a chicken breast and I asked you how many grams is that and how many calories is in it, could you tell me? No, probably not. But I can tell you that a whole chicken breast is pretty much just on about 180 to 200 grams because I'm Rain Man and I've been doing this for years and years and years, and it's a little bit psychotic, but this is what I do for a living. And if I was to tell you how many grams of protein in there, I could probably tell you there's about 30, between 25 to 35 grams, depending again on how much it weighs. So it's really important to really get a good idea and get a good grasp on exactly how much a serving size means, as opposed to just guessing and just saying, oh yeah, I had about this much, where in fact you may have eaten more and you may have eaten less. You don't know. So weigh it, do it, track it for a couple of weeks. 2 weeks using the information that we've gone through today. Weigh yourself on the Monday and Friday every week, and then compare your results week in, week out, every Monday and Friday, and see where you are over the course of the next month. See if Friday weigh-in is a lot less at the end of the month compared to the start of the month, and see what your Monday weigh-ins are like at the start of the month compared to the end of the month. Readjust your calories and lower if need be. So if you're not getting the results that you're after, just lower your calories down a little bit more. 150 to 200 is a really good starting point. Give yourself and your body time to adjust to the new plan that you've just implemented. Obviously you're going to be tracking, you're going to be measuring things. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it, getting into a routine, but I guarantee to be the best month and the best way to get the most amount of results in the shortest amount of time. Okay, I haven't had anyone come back and say this doesn't work, because the people who stick to it and do it, this is how you will get results. And I'm sure if you're watching this and you've gotten through this far, you're interested in getting some amount of results, especially for the time that we've gone through it in the last half an hour, or just on 29 minutes. Thank you for watching. I hope you stayed around to the end of this, and I hope you got a lot of information out of it. Add me on MyFitnessPal. I'm at myfitnesspal.com, Shannon Billows PT. Contact me, shannonbillowspt@gmail. Let me know how you went. I want to know how my information has impacted you, and if it's changed your opinion on things, if it's improved your opinion, if there's anything that I can improve on in terms of the seminar. Again, this is one of the very first small seminars that I've done for myself and my business, and I hope to do a lot more of these in the future. So if you have any good feedback, or if you have any feedback at all, let me know, and let me know how you go over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have in terms of nutrition and training. I also, again, offer in-person coaching. This is what I do for a living. I help people get in shape, lose weight, become healthy. If you're unable to see me in person, I have the online option available. There's no harm if you've been thinking about it and you haven't been getting results. Send me a line. I'm happy to go through a 3-week consultation. Just have a chat. You don't have to sign up with personal training services if you don't want to, but if you're just not getting where you want to be and you just don't know why, speaking to a professional is going to help you a lot. You don't do your own tax, you get your tax man to do it. You don't repair your own car, you get your mechanic to do it. So when it comes to your body and nutrition and training, and majority of people just don't know what they're doing, this is where a fitness professional comes in handy. Now, if you have found the information helpful, please like and share with all your friends and your family. If you found it helpful and you've gotten something out of this today, then I guarantee someone else is going to benefit from this as well. But that's pretty much it from me, guys. If there's any topics that you would like me to cover in future, anything about training, cardio, any specific questions that you may have, send them through to my email. I'm more than happy to correspond with you one-on-one, and that will generate some ideas that I can put up in terms of ongoing content, in terms of future seminars. I'm planning on doing a 12-week course hopefully in the next couple of months for my training clients and my online guys, which is going to cover a lot more in depth in terms of the amount of protein, amount of carbs, amount of fat that you should be eating, training programs in terms of what happens to your body when you go through weight training, and even the mental aspect of dieting and what to expect once you start losing weight and things like that. So a lot of great content to come out, guys. So keep in contact with me. You can go to my Facebook personal training page. I'm going to be posting a lot of information up there as well. And yeah, and hopefully you've got a lot out of this, and hopefully I've helped you in some way. All right, this is Shannon signing off, guys. Thank you very much for staying this far, and hopefully I'll see you in the gym or online. Peace out.